Hi, this is Mick Elliott from Electronic Specifier. I'm on the Siemens stand at Electronica. With me is Ed Goldman. And Siemens have launched a new design solution for engineers here at the show. Ed, can you talk us through some of the features, please?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Mick. I'm really happy to talk about it. So what we've announced this week at Electronica is the release of our next generation electronic systems design solution. This covers our existing portfolio. So if you're familiar with some of our solutions like Expedition, our flagship tool for enterprise electronic systems design, hyperlinks for virtual prototyping, signal integrity simulation, power integrity, and so forth. Our solutions for IC packaging, like Innovator 3D IC for 3D IC design. And then we also cover pads in our SMB space, Valor for design to manufacturing handoff, and ParQuest for component research, exploration, and bringing that into the design itself. So I just want to get a landscape, but this is our next generation solution that we're announcing this week.
Okay, and one of the points, you've taken an integrated approach. Now this is all on one solution, yeah?
When we talk about integration, if you think about what products are today, products are basically software enabled everywhere. So it really doesn't matter what you're buying. You could be buying children's shoes. It could be a satellite in space. Virtually everything is electronics enabled, right? Yeah. So that electronics enablement is really a software-defined product that is silicon enabled. That silicon goes into a board. That board goes into a system. So if we think about a vehicle, we're talking about bending metal, bending plastic. Well, it's a lot more today, right? Yep. So you have to have an integrated code design platform to be able to work with other disciplines. So if you think about power module design in the automotive space, that is a serious engineering challenge, especially here in Europe as we're trying to meet net zero requirements. It's a thermal challenge, it's a mechanical challenge, it's an electronic challenge, it's an RF challenge. I mean, it crosses the spectrum. Yeah. So when we talk about it in Siemens, we talk about, hey, can we combine the real and digital world? Can we help deliver, or can we enable the delivery of a real digital twin? That digital twin is built on digital threads, which is basically where we align different points of data across very specific areas. In our case, we are, the requirements of that digital twin are captured in the far left of the process. They go into domain-specific areas. In our case, it's the electronics domain. We have to co-design with mechanical. We have to co-design with electrical, and so forth. That goes out to a multi-domain BOM. That multi-domain BOM ends up being a manufactured product. So that's what we're talking about, integrated.
Okay. But I guess one of the features that you're pushing on this solution is that it actually, it's to kind of ease the shortage of expert design engineers. That's a real problem right now.
That's correct. So what's happening in the world, we see three trends just very quickly. Obviously, there's a workforce trend. So you have an insufficient pipeline of engineers coming into the workforce. Meanwhile, you have high attrition where people are leaving the workforce. They're retiring. So there's a serious capacity need between engineering capabilities and what they're being asked to do. That is being compounded by what I just described before. Software is everything. That software is silicon enabled, so that means electronics is going into everything. So there's a lot of development projects. Projects are skyrocketing, schedules are becoming tighter, and so forth. And then the third is really the volatility of the world that we're living in. So during COVID, we talked about supply chain. I mean, I think that's very well understood, right? Yep. We're kind of past that now, but it doesn't mean we're past the volatility, right? So volatility is also a function of geopolitics. Obviously, we have trade issues. We also are dealing with, say, conflicts, right? So that disrupt delivery, also labor shortages and so forth. All of that compounds to a perfect storm. So our engineering teams are being asked to do more with a lot of challenge. If we go back to kind of EDA, where we were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it was about giving the most capable tool to that engineer. That engineer may be very tolerant towards the complexity of using that tool because they wanted to get the job done. Fast forward to today, we're living in a world where there's a high requirement for the best user experience with the delivery of the most capable tool. That user experience is to shorten the learning curves, get people up and running fast, and frankly, it's just an expectation. We live in a world of, hey, I bring something out of the box, I want to be up and running quickly. Yeah. So our responsibility is to deliver that user experience, through a very intuitive, interface, allowing people to personalize, allowing people to access digital adoption, so like videos within the tool, and really letting the tool be your muscle memory versus you having the muscle memory. So that's a real commitment of ours.
Okay, and I guess one of the features as well is you mentioned supply chain, and this eases the engineer through the process. Does it smooth the path to the bill of materials?
Yeah. So you may be aware, about 4 years ago we acquired Supply Frame. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. So now we have insights to millions of pulses of data of what's happening in really across the supply chain landscape. Okay, so what's unique here is that we're bringing that supply chain insight into the point of design. So if you think about what was that, as an engineer I would design in a part that would go to, say, at some point component engineering. Mm-hmm. I might get feedback that it's not available. I have a redesign event, right? Right. So what we're doing is saying, okay, instead of this just being between procurement and component engineering and the supplier, we want to bring the engineer into the picture. That engineer can now have insight into what's happening in terms of the supply chain. They can understand risk ratios. They can design for alternates. They can make decisions so that they're able to make decisions at the point of design that increases the probability that that design will actually make it out the door and not go through that whole redesign. In the meantime, obviously, we're building out the bill of material and so forth.
And I guess it meets the pressure now on engineers to get products out to market as fast as possible.
That's right.
Okay. And I think you haven't just sprung this on the industry. You have feedback from hundreds of engineers to talk to them about what features they need to see.
Yeah. So we started this journey, about 5 years ago. Besides the fact that we participated with customers and got feedback, we also enlisted UX services from the outside to do real proper UX study, heuristics, and this went through multiple iterations of beta over a 2-year period. This is for sure the most extensively betaed product that we've ever had, or release that we've ever had.
And you're here at Electronica. Have you seen a lot of interest already?
Absolutely. Everybody says they can't believe how busy it is. So that's all. It's awesome. When I was talking about the capacity gap of engineering organizations and the demands, pressure being placed on them, then we start thinking about AI, right? What is the role of AI in design? So the way we see AI is to close that capacity gap. The engineering teams are, highly constrained. There's a lot of demands being put on them. They have to get stuff out the door. So one of the things, a major component of this release is really the infusion of AI into the design process. Some examples of that are command prediction. So I'm an engineer. I need to lay out a board, drop vias. It will tell, based on out-of-the-box models and then machine learning, it will start to recommend to me what are the next steps. It can also learn from your organization. So there, you can accelerate the time to results through that. Others are, say, in a data sheet, having to query a 1,000-page data sheet. So think about, kind of a natural language query about, say, power on a pin. Instead of going through a massive amounts of data, being able to get that answer at your fingertips. So AI is and will continue to play a major role in design. It will continue to develop. It is there to assist and close the gap between the capacity and the need of those organizations.
Goldman, thank you very much.